Hey guys, so I want to take today to talk about clean versus toxic food ingredients. This is one of the most important things when it comes to nutrition is knowing if you're eating healthy foods or not healthy foods. A lot of foods these days will be packaged and marketed as very healthy, very organic, low fat, whatever, and that's typically not the case. A lot of these organic and these 100% juice and all these other labels that you see are actually just marketing labels, and they don't actually mean anything. So when something says organic, don't listen to it. Read the ingredients because there's a lot of non-organic ingredients in there most of the time. Why understanding food ingredients matters for weight loss. So the problem with modern food, it relies heavily on chemical additives, preservatives, and artificial ingredients to enhance flavor, appearance, and shelf life. Um, Many of them disrupt metabolism, promote chronic inflammation, and actually hinder weight loss efforts. They show that people eating minimally processed foods lose twice as much weight. Um, and then those eating ultra processed foods, meaning if you eat whole foods, you're going to gain weight than people who eat Doritos, Twinkies, and all those other processed foods. Okay, it's not about counting calories; it's about the quality of the calories. If you're eating 1,000 calories in Twinkies versus 1,000 calories of chicken breast, a lot different, right? Your body's going to respond a lot differently to that. Your insulin and your blood sugar is going to get spiked. Whereas if you with the Twinkies, whereas with the protein, your protein synthesis is going to get kicked in. It's going to promote a higher metabolism, more lean mass, a more thermic effects. You're actually going to burn more fat just by eating more protein, right? So the quality of the calories matters a lot. Okay, so it's the quality paradigm is a diet based on clean whole foods, provides essential nutrients, keep you satiated, and supports optimal bodily function. So it makes sure you're sleeping right, makes sure you're building muscle properly, handling stress, making sure that you're recovering properly, all those kind of things. Understanding which ingredients to avoid and which to embrace forms the absolute foundation of sustainable long-term weight loss. Because if you're relying on foods that they say are healthy but are actually super processed, or if you're eating this low calorie tortillas but they're enriched flours, those aren't the things that you want to be eating. You want to make a different choice there. Okay. Ultra processed foods, the silent weight loss saboteur. Okay, this is what's gonna sabotage your weight loss journey. Um, what are they? It's foods that contain 5+ ingredients. So if you look at the ingredients list and you can't pronounce some of the ingredients, don't eat it. They put a lot of these ingredients in there and they put names that you don't know because they're chemicals or preservatives. They're food enhancers, makes them taste better. So makes them look different, like dyes and stuff. Okay. Includes additives like hydrogenated oils, high fructose corn syrup, preservatives, colorants, and emulsifiers. Okay. So colorants, I was saying like dyes, emulsifiers means like it holds it together. So there's a lot of like nasty, chalky, gummy stuff that helps hold it together. That's not good for your gut. So if you think about the stuff that helps hold food together, makes it sticky and like make it stay whole, well, what happens when that's in your gut? It's going to be sticky, sludgy in your gut as well. Engineered to be hyper palatable. Okay, they want you to eat those Doritos and it tastes really freaking good, so you keep eating them. Right? If Doritos didn't taste good, you wouldn't keep eating them. Okay, so it's designed just to taste good, so you consume more, so you eat more, so they make more profits. What have you. I think this might be my mic right here. Might want to make sure that this is all good. All right. Okay. So weight gain mechanism. So people consuming ultra processed foods gain 2 pounds per week, while those eating whole foods lost 2 pounds per week. So it's a 4 pound a week's difference, right? So you want to be on the side that's losing weight. Okay. Calorie density is ultra processed foods allow people to consume 330 calories more while eating 50% less. Okay, so they eat more calories, but they consume less food, and so they are hungry more, so they want to eat more. It's just a vicious cycle. Low in fiber means you don't feel full despite the high calorie intake, so you keep eating them. You eat a whole bag of Doritos, and you feel like trash, and you're still hungry, and you want to eat Twinkies and everything else, right? Why they sabotage your health? They're high in sugar and salt, which trigger dopamine release and intense cravings. It makes you psychologically addicted to these things. They disrupt the gut bacteria, like I was saying, and they slow your metabolism. Okay, they promote systemic inflammation throughout your body, increase risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, all of that. Okay, so ultra processed foods, like it says down here, they're linked to metabolic syndrome and chronic disease. Let's pull this up in regular mode. Okay, so when you're thinking about how to read food labels and identify toxic ingredients, ingredients by weight. So when you're looking at the ingredients list, the first ingredient that they mention is going to be the most abundant, right? So if it's flour is the first, or sugar is not good, number one. But whatever's first is what is going to be the most, and then it's in order of most to least. Okay, so the first three ingredients make up the bulk of the product. It could be that like the first ingredient is like 90%. And if it's a good ingredient, that's what you want. But if it's like 70, 80% it's sugar as the first ingredient, you're fucked. Red flags to look for: pronunciation test. If you can't pronounce it, your body probably can't process it. Look for partially hydrogenated oils. Hydrogenated oils are very bad for your. They cause inflammation, so it's very bad for your gut. Their hidden trans fats make you gain weight. Avoid anything with artificial in the name, colors, sweeteners, additives, anything like that. And then watch for multiple forms of sugar. So high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, sucrose. They might have high fructose corn syrup in the front and then like 2 or 3 in there. It's just multiple different kinds of sugars that they are able to put in there to make it seem like it's something different, but it's just sugar. The FDA loophole. So this is why everything sucks and our food sucks. So almost 99% of food chemicals introduced since 2000 were approved by food companies themselves, not the FDA. So FDA is supposed to be regulating our food, but as you know, they're probably getting a bunch of kickbacks. These big food companies are probably lobbying them to basically pass whatever they want to pass. And the FDA is basically just a vanity board. Like they're supposed to, but they're not really doing much. As you can see here, 99% of food chemicals. Why are we putting chemicals in our food, number one? Okay, the GRAS problem, generally recognized as safe, allows manufacturers to bypass rigorous FDA review for new additives. So if it's generally recognized as safe, say it's like a new chemical that they get and it's a compound of another one that are safe, or it's a derivative and they derive it from another one. Well, that compound, taking two and putting it together, could be a toxic process, right? But since they're both generally safe, that new product that could be toxic isn't counted as toxic because it's generally recognized as safe. So they're allowed to do it without any regulations. It gets really fucked up. But just know that FDA and the government's not on your side. They're on the side of the food companies and the billionaires to make more money for themselves. And as long as you keep buying it, they don't give a shit, because what's going to happen is you're going to need more medical care. You're going to need more things to fix your health, and they're just going to sell you that on the back end, right? Practical tip. So choose foods with 5 fewer ingredients. The shorter the list, the closer the food is to its natural state, and better it is for you for your weight loss weight loss goals. Just think about it. Like apple, like that's a fucking apple. Eat it, right? Like if you have to look at it and it's like basically, if it's in a package, it's probably been processed somehow, meaning that they take the grain and everything and process it into that little like cracker or whatever that is. And the more processing it is, the more chemicals, the more stuff they add to it. So you want stuff that's whole foods, like steak, chicken, eggs, blueberries, broccoli, like actual real foods that you can go and grow and eat. That's what you want to eat. Okay, common. So artificial sweeteners, why diet food sabotage weight loss, right? So aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, sulfate, potassium. They're being calorie, they are advertised as calorie free, but they're linked to weight gain rather than weight loss. So a lot of studies show that they harm your weight loss by harming your or disrupting your hormones. They interfere with hormones that regulate metabolism and appetite, your microbiome alteration. Like I said, the gut bacteria negatively affects how you process food, how you digest it, your bowel movements. Cravings, when you have these type of sweeteners, they actually increase your sweet cravings and promote food addiction. Even though that's why you're eating it, is to avoid that. Kind of contradictory there, huh? Metabolic support, strongly linked to metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. Okay, aspartame is linked to heart disease, increased risk of certain cancers. Sucralose negatively affects insulin response and blood sugar. They're also showing that these are neurotoxins as well. And saccharin, identified in some studies as possible carcinogen. Okay, so these aspartame, the diet sodas, they're marketed as safe. We're actually finding evidence on the contrary. And a lot of people say that, oh, it depends on the dose, or if it's poison and I have to eat a lot of it to get poison, I'm not even going to eat a little bit of it, right? So I just avoid them altogether. You can use alternatives, so like stevia. I still don't like stevia. They're finding now that stevia is a possible neurotoxin. You can use it if you want. I try to stay away from it. I just like to stick to monk fruit and then honey. You can use maple syrup. You can use agave nectar. You can use a lot of different things, but you want to try to sweeten your food with real food. Like don't use cane sugar that's derived and ground down and processed into a powder. Like where you can't just go dig a hole or get a tree and sugar comes out. Like it's not natural. It's processed. Okay. So the best alternative to simple is to simply enjoy the natural taste of real and processed food. It's not going to taste like a freaking fruit smoothie from McDonald's, right? But it's going to be a lot better, a regular smoothie at home without all the sugar and all the crap. Okay. High fructose corn syrup. How does it destroys metabolism? So it's highly processed food made from sweetener made from corn. It's found in juices, sodas. Why it's worse than regular sugar? It's your liver processes fructose differently than glucose, and it doesn't trigger insulin release. So your satiety, meaning your satisfaction signals, don't activate. Right. So there's nothing in your body saying that, oh, I've had enough. It just keeps going. So you keep eating it because this doesn't trigger your insulin release, and is directly converted into belly fat in the liver. Okay. So right there, high fructose corn syrup, bad. 10-week study, people consuming fructose beverages showed significant increases in belly fat, decreased insulin sensitivity, and it triggers inflammation, right? So the biggest thing is corn in general is inflammatory, but high fructose corn syrup is very inflammatory. You can see it's linked to all these diseases here. And so it's used as a sweetener in juices, breakfast cereals, yogurt, some like fruit snacks, anything where it's sweetened to add flavor, color. It's usually going to be bad for you. Salad dressings and countless healthy packaged foods. So, like even if you look at some of your healthy granola bars, high fructose corn syrup, protein bars, high fructose corn syrup. These things that are generally regarded as healthy are not. So check labels carefully. High fructose corn syrup is hiding in foods you think are healthy. Sodium nitrate, preservatives, okay? Toxic preservatives that damage your heart. Sodium nitrate, potassium bromate, BHA, and BHT. Okay, so like all of the deli meats, sausages, all the stuff, even bacon is all preserved using sodium nitrate. The reason why it's bad is because it's linked to colorectal cancer, stomach cancer, breast cancer, bladder cancers, as well as type 1 diabetes. Um, and so potassium bromate, same thing. It's in baked goods, commercial breads, and flours. So this is one you have to look for in meats. This is one you have to look for in breads. It's used to strengthen dough, improve texture. It's possibly a carcinogen, right? But it's generally regarded as safe, so they're allowed to put it in there. Okay, it's linked to um, all these things. So it's linked to kidney damage in animals. It's banned in a lot of other countries, but it's still legal in the U.S. You're going to see this a lot. There's a lot of things that are banned in other countries that the U.S. still allows people to sell. So look for potassium bromate free labels. Choose artisanal or whole grain breads. I would just go sourdough just to kind of avoid all of that. BHA and BHT. So found in breakfast cereals, cured meat, snack food, vegetable oils. So this is one it's kind of like a hybrid of these two, and they put it in everything. So it's possible carcinogen, and it's an endocrine disruptor. It's going to disrupt your hormones, your gut bacteria, your digestion, your sleep, your mood, your energy, all of that. If it's a hormone disruptor, almost every process in your body is going to be affected because every process in your body usually requires some kind of hormone. Carefully read labels and avoid any foods with BHA or BHT listed in the ingredients. Okay, so we have sodium benzenate, so more toxic preservatives. Sodium benzenate, propylparaben, so all parabens, propyls. It's just like a mix. Um, ADA, I don't even know how to pronounce that. But these are the ones you want to look for. Okay, so choose fresh oils and avoid processed meat. Avoid commercial breads. Choose the artisanal, homemade options like sourdough, benzenate, and vitamin C. Like a lot of these are going to be additives, and so it's always best to pick stuff without parabens in those additives. Artificial dyes, color poisons in your food. So all the reds, 30, 40, 7, all of them. All of the dyes are toxic. Why are we dyeing the food in the first place? Just leave it a weird color. If it's a weird color, it's a weird color. We got to dye it to make it look good so it could sell more, so it could be more appealing, so it could sell more and make more profits, right? Candy, cereal, they want these bright colors, these reds and everything, so it pops, so you want to buy it. If it was clear, it wouldn't sell as much, right? And so they're making them look more appealing, vibrant, and fresh than they actually are. Like a lot of these, there's actually preservatives they put inside sushi, like salmon, to make it actually pink, or like tuna to make it pink, and it's like gray. It's disgusting. So health risks, so hyperactivity, ADHD, concentration issues. They put all these dyes in here and these foods and all these sugar, and they're like, "Hey, kids, now go sit down." And if you can't sit down, you have a problem. It's like you're feeding them crap. You're chronically inflamed. You're having these behavior issues because their nervous system is on the fritz, right? Okay, and carrageenan, okay, derived from seaweed but heavily processed, right? It's known to trigger intestinal or ulcerations, IBS. Um, Generally recognized as safe in moderation, guar gum, but these are the gums, the emulsifiers, the things that hold stuff together that just cause problems. So I'll get to what ingredients you are allowed to eat here in a second, but there's a lot of problems here. Okay, so these hidden gut disruptors. Um, so, like I was saying, these are the emulsifiers, the stuff that holds stuff together. So, additives help mix ingredients that don't naturally blend, like water and oil, to improve texture and shelf life. So, emulsifiers and gums, that's what I was talking about. So, these not good. Lecithin, basically, it makes it like almost think about like sludgy oatmeal. It tries to hold stuff like that together, so looks good. It's can stay in one piece. But what that does is it just creates sludge in your gut. Basically, it causes dysbiosis, leaky gut, inflammation, irritable bowel syndrome, immune issues, and immune issues because you start having hormonal disruptions, and your body just kind of goes on the fritz. And so, same thing here. Okay. Trans fats, the worst type of fat for your body. It's basically created by hydrogenation. So that's why hydrogenated oils are so bad because they're trans fats. But basically, you add hydrogen to vegetable oil. And so you make liquid oil solid at room temperature, which any kind of geoengineering like that is going to be bad. Like if it's not natural, it's probably like that for a reason. And we try to fuck with it to make it look like what we want it to look like. And that's when you have problems. Cheap to produce, provides a long shelf life and remains stable at high temperatures, right? So it just makes it easier for them to hold on to food longer so they could sell it for longer. It doesn't go bad. Just helps them to maintain more of their profits. Baked goods, shortening margarine. This is like basically think of like um, stuff that like almost like Crisco, right? Like shortening and margarine, like that kind of hydrogenated oil. Just stay away from all that there. Non-dairy coffee creamers, frozen pizzas, fried foods. You don't even need to be eating any of this, okay? Popcorn, you can eat popcorn, but just make sure that it's natural popcorn. Like there's some that I'll show you later, okay? How they harm you? Cholesterol, inflammation, weight gain, belly fat, heart health. So kind of like the guar gums here. Just a lot of inflammation, belly fat. It just helps you. It helps you. It makes you gain weight. Helps you to not be healthy. So foods can legally show 0 grams, even if they contain less than zero point 0.5 grams per serving. So there's going to be fats that you don't know that are in there. So that's why it's always best to eat whole foods, healthier foods, because they're going to hide stuff in there because there's thresholds that they're allowed to be under and then not have to disclose it. Kind of like if it's like, I think it's 1% milk, they're allowed to say it's whole milk, and 100% milk, or like 1% juice, it's from natural juice, like 100% fruit juice, which is crazy. Okay, so always check for partially hydrogenated oils. FDA has banned most added trans fats, but some are still in older products may still be available. So just watch out for those. Seed oils, don't have any seed oils. Soybean, canola, sunflower, safflower oil, corn oil. They're really the only oils that you can have is olive oil, coconut oil, and avocado oil. Those are the three oils that you can have. If it's not those three oils, don't ask. Okay, don't say is this oil good? It's not. Okay, grapeseed oil, all those other bullshit oils, not good. So those are the only three right here. Boom. Olive oil, avocado oil, grass-fed butter or ghee. That's a good one. And then coconut oil. That is it. The reason why is because seed oils create trans fat when they're at high temperatures, right? So these are higher temperature foods, are higher temperature oils, and they allow the oils not to turn into toxic chemicals. So look, seed oils are very high in polyunsaturated fat, and when those, where is it at? When you heat those up, it releases those chemicals and oxidative compounds, and it's not good. Okay, so these are allowed to be cooked. If you're going to do low heat, you can do olive oil. If you're going to do higher heat, you're going to do avocado oil and coconut oil. Also, algae is good too, but it just causes the oils to give off toxic chemicals. And when you heat it up that high and you're heating your food in there, it's going to give off those chemicals. It's going to seep into your food, and then you're going to eat those chemicals. So minimize seed oil consumption. Choose whole foods prepared with healthy oils: avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil. Those are the only three you can have. Don't ask if you can have other ones because you can't. Refined flours, so stripped of nutrition, loaded with chemicals. Okay, so the processing problem. So, like we said, anything that's processed is not going to be good. And if they take the grains, they mill it, and they start bleaching it and pulling out all the nutrients and then re and fortifying it with fake nutrients, that's when you get fucked up. Okay, so they use benzoyl peroxide, chlorine gas to bleach them. Um, yeah, so they treat it with chemicals to whiten it quickly, right? And so enriched flour is a refined flour with some synthetic volume. So they basically strip it and then add it back in, like I was saying. So it lacks the fiber, the phytonutrients of whole grains. And then vitamins are often synthetic and poorly absorbed. So they put vitamins in there, but they're fake vitamins that are man-made and your body can't even absorb them. Okay. So why it's harmful? Strips away fiber, vitamins, and minerals from the grain. It causes rapid spikes in blood sugar and subsequent crashes because there's no fiber. Oh, damn. Can't click. Triggers insulin resistance over time, weight gain, decreased disease risk. Those linked to type 2 diabetes because of the blood sugar spikes. And it's nutrient depleted and so your body wants more. It doesn't have fiber, so it doesn't make you full. These are better alternatives here. So I usually do almond flour or coconut flour or even cassava flour. And then if you want to do sourdough, that's probably one of the best ones too. Oat flour is good, but these are all alternatives like Ezekiel bread. Those are all good ones. And you want to see whole grain and avoid enriched and bleached labels entirely. Okay. MSG, the flavor enhancer that hijacks your appetite. So there's a lot of hydrolyzed vegetable protein, yeast extract, natural flavoring. So they changed the name of it to be a lot of things, but MSG has been in a lot of headlines and stuff. They say it's really bad because it's generally recognized as safe, but it remains highly controversial. A lot of people are saying that there's a lot of MSG in Asian food, and that's why people are getting sick. That's why you're having problems. So restaurant food and fast food, that's where that comes in. Asian cuisine. Although naturally occurring. So they say that MSG is related to weight gain, metabolic syndrome. It causes headache, sweating, numbness. And so approximately 30% of people experience adverse reactions. It may have neurotoxic properties. And so avoid MSG if you have symptoms. If you are okay with MSG, you can have it. This is like a controversial one that people are saying that was demonized, and now it's actually not bad, and it's just a flavoring. It does have hydrolyzed vegetable oil in it, or hydrolyzed vegetable protein in it, and anything hydrolyzed added hydrogen is not good. So I just stay away from it. I do like my Asian food every once in a while, though. Gotta cheat every once in a while. Additional toxic additives to avoid. So titanium dioxide, it's awful. It's color additive. It's neurotoxin. It's actually a metal. Anything like titanium. So you want to avoid this. Sulfides, phosphates, caramel colors, potassium, and sodium sorbate. Anything that you can't, like this sounds like a chemical. It sounds like it was produced in a lab. Don't eat it because it was. And so you want to just limit these. So there's different ones you can have here. I can post this slideshow so you have it as well and you can read it more in detail. But you can see a lot of these cause problems. So causes allergic reaction, asthma attacks, linked to kidney disease, allergic reactions, possible carcinogen. I'm okay on all that, right? I don't want a neurotoxic. I'm going to avoid that. Okay. So how toxic ingredients destroy your gut health. So microbiome connection. So your gut has trillions of bacteria and actually absolutely crucial for digestion, immune function, and regulating your metabolism. Okay. And the more that you have artificial sweeteners, emulsifiers, preservatives, your body is going to go into dysbiosis and your gut is going to be just trashed. This constant chemical assault creates an imbalance where harmful bacteria outnumber beneficial ones, severely impairing digestion, causing mucus buildup, causing fatigue. You can see leaky gut syndrome. That's when people have fatigue. They have the microscopic holes. They have a lot of mucus in their lining just because there's a lot of inflammation, right? Systemic inflammation. Just like if you have a cut and there's inflammation and it oozes, you get that mucus that forms. That's the same thing that happens here. Okay, weight gain, insulin resistance. So if you remove the toxic ultra-processed ingredients, it allows the gut lining to heal and beneficial bacteria to repopulate, naturally resetting your metabolism for weight loss. A lot of people are like, how do I need some probiotics for my gut bacteria. I need to rebuild my gut. Don't fuck it up in the first place. Don't eat this crap and you'll be good and your body will start to heal itself. Like our bodies are meant to heal. We don't need extra chemicals and stuff to help heal ourselves if we just eat the right stuff. Like they say food is medicine. All the medicine we need is in our food. Clean protein sources for weight loss and muscle maintenance. Okay. So why clean protein matters. Metabolic boost, satiety, and muscle preservation, right? You're going to have a thermic effect, like I said, meaning your body's going to burn more calories just because it's running hotter because you're eating more protein. You're going to be more satiated because you're going to get the macronutrients, and it's going to help curb your late night cravings because you're actually going to be full. You're going to have fiber, and your body's going to actually keep digesting it. It doesn't just digest it really quick because it's already processed. Processed foods, they make you so hungry because you don't have to digest them. You just like you put a Dorito in your mouth and it turns into powder, and then by the time it gets down to your stomach, there's nothing there, right? So you don't feel full because it's nothing, right? And so with actual protein, you have some substance, some muscle fibers, and things that your body needs to break down. And so it takes time to break that down. And so that's where you get that full feeling. Muscle preservation, lean mass during weight loss. If you don't have protein during weight loss, you're just going to be skinny fat. You're going to lose your water weight and your muscle. What makes protein clean? Raised without routine antibiotics or synthetic growth hormones, and also the food they feed it, right? So grass-fed or pasture-raised when possible, providing more omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Wild caught rather than farm raised, especially for seafood. There's a lot of lead, a lot of mercury, a lot of heavy metals in farm raised fish and seafood. Completely free of toxic preservatives like nitrites, and artificial colors, like I was saying about the tuna. Okay, so the clean sources of protein, so pasture-raised poultry and eggs. So you want poultry that is not encaged. If they're able to roam free. Grass-fed beef. You don't want it to be fed corn or other grains because that's not their natural diet, and it's going to cause ulcers. It's going to cause mucus buildup, and it's going to cause tumors. And then they just cut the tumors away and still sell us the meat. It's disgusting. Wild caught fish, organic plant proteins, and then legumes. Okay, so you want a palm-sized portion of protein at every meal. I try to go for like hand-sized, like a chicken breast. The more protein you have, the better. There's studies showing that if you overeat on protein by 800 calories, you don't gain any weight, right? So they had two diets, 2,500. These people ate 3,300 calories, and that extra surplus was all protein, and they gained no weight. They actually increased their lean body mass, which is crazy. It's almost 1,000 calories. You could overeat by 1,000 calories, but as long as it's protein. Okay. Vegetables, the foundation of clean eating. So why they're essential? Volume and satiety. That is the biggest thing, right? They're extremely low calorie, but it allows you to eat more of them and feel full because there's a lot of fiber in vegetables and you have to break that down. It's like a lot of broccoli. You eat a whole bowl of broccoli, it might be 200 calories. You eat a whole bowl of cereal, that's 1,000 calories, right? It's just you get more bang for your buck. And a lot of people think like, oh, I have to eat a lot of vegetables and stuff to be full. Yeah, yes, you're darn right you do. What else are you gonna eat? Breads and all this other trash? Like we're meant to eat whole foods. We're meant to eat stuff that grows out of the ground. So if you have to eat more vegetables to be full and be healthier and feel better, holy shit, what a crazy concept, right? So like you guys see a lot of my meals I make, I put a shit ton of lettuce and a lot of broccoli, cucumbers, like I add carrots and cucumbers to my tuna for more volume. Like there's a lot of things that I do to have more volume because I'm a fat kid at heart. Like I like to eat a lot of food, right? If I eat a lot of food that is really calorically dense, I'm screwed. Like if I had a whole thing of nuts, that's like 500 calories. That's like 500 calories, 1,000 calories in just a handful of nuts. Would I rather do that, or would I rather eat a whole salad for 300 calories? Right? You do the math. What's gonna make you more satisfied? Probably the whole salad. Okay. So high water, high fiber content typically or physically stretches the stomach, signaling fullness to the brain. Right? If you put two Oreos in your stomach compared to a whole salad, probably the same calories, or a whole head of lettuce, it's probably the same calories, but what's going to make you feel full? Right? The lettuce. It's going to stretch your stomach. Your brain's going to respond to that stretch response and be like, okay, we're full, we're done. Right? But two little Oreos isn't going to stretch your stomach. And you keep adding all that stuff in that's ultra processed and that digests super fast. By the time it gets to your stomach, it's just water. Right? So packed with essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, provide phytonutrients to reduce inflammation and support cellular repair, crucial for feeding beneficial gut bacteria. So you're saying that all this does the exact opposite of what ultra processed food does. Holy shit, you don't say. So if I eat this, I can minimize or maybe reverse the effects of all the other crap. That's exactly what I'm saying. Top choices for weight loss. So spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard, near 0 calories, but massive nutrient profiles. Okay. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, all high in fiber. And they all have nutrients that support liver detox. Water-rich veggies. So good for snacking and hydration. So cucumbers, zucchini, celery, bell peppers. Like I said, I put cucumbers and even sometimes celery in my tuna just to make it stretch more, right? A little can of tuna, you put some cucumbers, you put some celery in there and some carrots, you got a lot more there. Okay, and so why do they sabotage health? Come on. So why do they sabotage health, right? Where we at? Come on. Okay. Um, we'll get to that on this next one. Okay. So roasting. So toss with olive oil. Sneak them in. Blend spinach into smoothies. Grate zucchini into sauces. Meatloaves. The half plate rule. So you want 50% of your plate to be non-starchy vegetables. So that's a lot of your plate. Broccoli. All these things in here. You want half your plate to be full of those. Okay. All right. Nature's perfect snacks, whole fruits versus juices. So whole fruits contain fiber, right? Intact fiber, which slows down your digestion and it reduces the natural sugars into your bloodstream. Um, sorry, it slows down the absorption, right? So it goes slower. So your blood sugar doesn't spike. Okay. So the problems with juice is juice strips away the beneficial fiber, causes rapid blood sugar to spike, similar to drinking soda, and it fails to trigger satiety signals. So you can easily consume the sugar of 4 or 5 apples in one glass of juice without feeling full, right? In order to get that same sugar from 4 or 5 apples, try to eat 5 apples right now. Tell me how full you are after, or tell me if you still want something after that. You're going to be pretty full because it has all the fiber, right? Your body has to break down that fiber. Like when you juice an apple, all that pulp that comes out, that's the fiber, right? That's the stuff that your body cannot digest. And so as you're eating, that stuff is staying in your stomach and it's keeping you full. As you're digesting it, it helps to move your bowels, right? That hard fiber is what keeps your bowels solid. If you didn't have that fiber and you just had ultra processed foods, that's why you have diarrhea every day. That's why your stools are just liquidy and runny, because you don't have fiber. And so that's what fiber does. And that's why fruits are really good, as opposed to just juice. Juice is really good. It's really beneficial. You get the vitamins and nutrients, but you don't get the fiber. You don't get the blood sugar regulation. You don't get the satiation that you get. Best fruits for weight loss. So focus on fruits with lower glycemic index and high fiber content. Low glycemic index means it's not going to spike your blood sugar and it has a lot of fiber. So strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, all these are good because they're high in fiber, low in sugar, and packed with antioxidants. Apples and pears, high. I love me a good pear. High in pectin that expands your stomach and keeps you full for hours. Grapefruit, low glycemic index. Avocado, loaded with healthy fats and fiber. Right. So portion control, while they're healthy, they still contain sugars. Okay, so aim to 1 to 2 servings a day during active weight loss phases. So if you have like a banana and a pear, that's pretty good for the day, right? If you have 4 or 5 bananas, there's so much sugar in that, and people actually gain weight. I know this guy, he was drinking a smoothie every morning, and he had like 3 or 4 bananas in there, and he's like, "Why am I losing weight?" He's like, "Dude, that's a lot of sugar in there, right?" And bananas don't have very much fiber. So unless you're putting some kind of fiber in there, you're gonna really spike your blood sugar. Okay. So never eat fruit completely on an empty stomach. So always pair with a protein. So almonds, Greek yogurt, cheese. It helps to blunt your blood sugar spiking. I know the fiber in there will help, but if you have something in there, like the protein or the Greek yogurt or something, it'll help to dampen that response so it doesn't spike up too much, and you kind of get up a more even rise. Okay. And you can also use it to replace sugary desserts. Whole grains sustain energy without the crash. Okay, what makes a grain whole? You have the bran, you have the germ, and you have the endosperm. Okay, the starchy middle layer is the only part left in the refined flour, right? So this is the only part that's left. You don't have the nutrient-packed core, and you don't have the fiber-rich with B vitamins. So that's why the grains suck, right? Slow digestion, stable energy, no crash, it keeps you full for longer, right? All these, I don't know if you guys have been getting a theme here, excuse me, all these whole grain, all these whole foods, they help to control your and slow your digestion. It helps to give you energy. You don't crash, you stay fuller for longer, and it helps with your hormones and your gut bacteria. Holy crap, who would have thought? Right? Top whole grain choices: quinoa, complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids. Okay, and then you have oats, wild rice, farro and barley, buckwheat. So these are your whole grain choices. So you can see white rice isn't in here, right? Because white rice doesn't have much fiber. So if you're going to go for rice, I would actually go for brown rice or wild rice, or quinoa altogether. Okay, so swap your refined grains for the whole grain counterparts. So if you're having regular bread, go for sourdough bread or Ezekiel bread or some kind of like a whole grain bread. Okay, make sure that whole grain is on the one of the first ingredients. It should be the first. Okay, healthy fats. So fats make you fat. That's a myth. Eating healthy fats does not make you fat. Is actually what you need for good weight loss. Helps with your blood sugar. Helps hormone productions. It helps with your hair, nails, your cell membranes. You cannot go without fat, otherwise your body would fall apart. You can go without carbs because your body will convert the fat into carbs and glucose, but you can't go without fat. That's why you see a lot of people get really lean, really skinny. They'll start being nutrient deficient, and they'll sometimes die of starvation because they don't have the healthy fats their body needs to maintain a lot of the cell membranes and cell functions. Okay, top clean fat sources: avocado and avocado oil, nut seeds, virgin oil, virgin olive oil, fatty fish. Like sardines and stuff like that. Those are really good for your fats and get you a lot of your omega 3s and omega 6s. You want that ratio to be pretty good. So they're calorically dense, right? Like I've always said, the fats, they have 9 calories to burn 1 gram of fat, whereas carbs and protein have 4. So if you're eating a lot of fat, you're going to reduce your carb intake or kind of play with that, because if you eat a lot of fat, you're going to gain weight if you eat excess fat. There's no doubt about that. I'd keep it in the 60, 70 grams per day range if you're trying to lose weight. Okay, actually maybe like 40 or 50. I would go on the top end, like 70 or 80. Legumes, plant-based protein, and fiber powerhouses. Okay, so the ultimate weight loss combo. So think of legumes here: lentils, black beans, chickpeas, edamames. Peanuts are actually a legume. They're high in fat, but these ones here are low in fat. Okay, and they are right here. So legumes are unique because they have high amounts of protein and fiber in one package, right? So it helps you stay fuller for longer. Gut metabolism health. You could see a lot of these things are the same. Eat healthy and whole foods, and you will be okay. All right. I'll let you guys read this. So dairy and non-dairy options, choosing clean. Okay. So grass-fed organic, full fat versus low fat. So full fat is less processed, keeps you full longer. Low fat often add sugar to compensate for lost flavor because then it just tastes like water, right? Like skim milk. The yogurt trap. So right here, so flavored yogurts are disguised as desserts containing up to 20 grams of sugar. So like your Chobanis with your strawberry, like that's not good. You just need your regular dairy. Okay, no sugar added, plain yogurt, plain milk. Okay, um, right here. So a clean plant milk. So you shouldn't have all a bunch of crap on there that you can't. So like oat milk, awful. Oatly, terrible. Okay. So look at all the stuff in there because there are more ingredients and it's a lot more processed than you think. Then you have the gums, the added sugars, the seed oils. Like these non-dairy alternatives are actually awful for you. So you need some like unsweetened almond, coconut, or cashew milk with minimal ingredients. So always look at the ingredients because they're gonna have 10 sodium emulsified and potassium dichloride, all this other shit that you don't need. Okay, so just make sure it's right here, 2 or 3 ingredients: water, the nut, the seed, and then maybe some salt. Okay, and then making your own nut milk at home is actually the best that you can do. Okay. Herbs and spices, right? Herbs and spices, they're going to give you flavor without the toxins. Like season your food. A lot of people are afraid that like seasoning is going to make them gain weight or they can't eat salt. You season your food, please. Make it taste good. If you're going to eat chicken, plain chicken breast, you're going to hate yourself. Okay, throw some freaking cayenne pepper or some chili powder on there. Make it taste good. Some rosemary and some thyme on your steak, right? And they're also good for fighting diseases. Like a lot of spices and herbs are actually very healing to help your gut, to help suppress appetite, right? A lot of things we've been saying, helping with your gut, helping with cellular processes. Who would have thought that actually eating healthy foods and whole foods would do that for you, right? So step one, so the complete label reading strategy. So step one, ignore the packaging, ignore what the marketing is saying, like all natural, low fat, whole grain, sugar free, because there's probably some other crappy aspartame sugar in there that you don't need, right? These buzzwords are legally vague and often hide highly processed toxic ingredients inside, right? They're legal, but doesn't mean they're good for us, right? Turn the package around immediately. Read the ingredients first, okay? So you want top 3 ingredients make up the bulk of the food. So you want those ingredients to be really good. Okay. You want them to usually have no more than 5 ingredients, but sometimes they will. You just want to be able to pronounce them, right? They might have like 17 organic strawberry, organic this, or that's fine, right? As long as it's actually real foods and not some chemical dyes or names or something like that, right? And then check the nutrition facts. So this is where a lot of people get hung up because the serving size, right? So sometimes they'll use unrealistically small serving size to make calorie and sugar counts look smaller. So like peanut butter is one of the ones I see people overeating on so much. Go get a tablespoon, weigh a tablespoon of peanut butter and see how little it is. You're going to be surprised. You're going to be like, damn, I've been eating 5, 6 servings, which is 40, 50 grams of fat each time you eat peanut butter. Okay. So always check the serving sizes to make sure, right? And then look at the added sugars. Aim for 0 added sugars. It'll be like, oh, includes this amount of added sugar. You don't want added sugar. You want the normal sugars from the fruit, the normal sugars from the actual foods that are being put in it, and not anything added. And then trans fats, you want 0 grams of trans fat and then no hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils. That's something to really look for. Okay. 80-20 rule. Okay. So 80% focus on clean, nutrient dense foods. 20% you're going to get off the rails. You're going to go to life events, social gatherings, right? Like don't restrict yourself too much. If you try to go 100%, you're going to go 0%. You can go 100% for 2 weeks and you go back to 100% trash. Okay. So I'd rather you have more of a balanced lifestyle and eat 80-20 rather than just going off the rails, because the binge cycle, right? The strict deprivation inevitably leads to cravings and binging. You're like, I can't do this anymore. I need some freaking food, right? And so you get the stress of being perfect, raises your cortisol levels, actively promotes belly fat, right? It gets you in this fight or flight stage because you're like, oh, I can't eat anything. I can't. And your body stresses cortisol, you're screwed, right? You cannot maintain 100% strict for the rest of your life, so don't even try. Okay, so look at the weekly average. If you eat 21 meals a week, you want about 17 of those to be clean and on plan. Okay, 4 meals, you can be more relaxed. That doesn't mean 4 days. That means 4 meals, right? A breakfast here, a dinner there, lunch here. But if these 4 meals are 2,000, 3,000 calories, then it doesn't matter what you do in the 80%, because whatever deficit you create from the 80%, you're just going to fuck it up with all those. So you want still look at portion sizes, right? That doesn't mean you can eat like an asshole, right? Doesn't mean you can have 4 or 5,000 calories because it's a cheat meal. You're just going to screw yourself. Okay. So don't waste your 20% on mindless snacking or mediocre office donuts. There's going to be those cupcakes. There's going to be cookies in the office. Don't eat them. Don't, like, you're going to waste that. After you eat it, you're going to be tired. You're going to feel like shit. You're going to be pissed. And then you're not even going to like it. Right. Like, save it for things you truly enjoy, like your Snickers that you really like, or your piece of cake, or your whatever, your chocolate that you like to have every night. Save it for that. Show some discipline. You see everyone else getting fat eating it, let them eat it. They're like, oh, you're too good for it. You don't want to eat it. Yep. I don't want to look like you guys. I want to look good naked, right? So the next meal, if you have an off meal, don't panic or give up. Just make your next meal clean. Get right back on the horse. Okay. So don't try and be too strict. Otherwise, everything's going to go bad. Okay, how to shop for clean foods, a practical guide. So shop the perimeter, right? That's where a bunch of the produce, the eggs, the milk, the meat, that's where it's going to be, right? So you have all these things, all the things right there, right? If it can go bad, it's probably bad for you, right? Real food rots. Highly processed food sits on shelves for years because of all of the preservatives, oils, and stuff that help to maintain it for longer and preserve that food for longer. Navigating the aisles, right? So middle aisles are designed to sell highly profitable, ultra processed foods with a bunch of colors. They're really tasty. They have these cool names like Baja Blast and freaking Cool Ranch. Like, duh. Like, they're trying to market to kids. They have Chester Cheeto on there. They're not doing that for the grown man. They're doing that for the kids. Get you hooked at a young age, so that when you're 30, you just keep buying it, right? So safe aisles like dried beans, lentils, whole grains, nuts, foods, like all these are good, right? Because these are whole food still, right? They're not adding all this bunch of ultra processed crap to it. Okay. Cost saving strategy. So buy frozen fruits, vegetables. They're often picked at their peak ripeness. Buy in bulk. Eat seasonally, right? If don't eat watermelon during the winter, there's no watermelon that grow in the winter, right? So just think about it, right? Just eat food when it's in season. Cheaper proteins, eggs, canned tuna is really good. A can of tuna has like 45 grams of protein. I eat probably tuna 4 or 5 days a week for lunch. The Dirty Dozen rule. You don't need to buy everything organic. Prioritize organic for the Dirty Dozen to save money. And honestly, what we're finding is the organic foods actually have higher preservative and toxin levels than the regular ones, because they're just different kind of toxins. They're supposed to be clean. Meal prep, meal prep, meal prep, meal prep. Okay, that is your key to consistency. It's a non-negotiable because you're going to have decision fatigue. By 5 p.m., you get off work, you're going to look at the fridge, you're going to be like, I'm not making anything. It's going to be done by 6. I'm going to go to Chipotle. And if you're going to Chipotle, right here, right? If you're going to Chipotle a couple times a week, you're gonna gain weight. Okay, and so what I want you to do is I want you to meal prep every Saturday or Sunday. Make a bunch of protein, make a bunch of beef. Like what I do is I'll make like 6 chicken breasts, 5 or 6 chicken breasts. I'll make 1 or 2 pounds of ground beef, and then I'll have my tuna ready. So that way, if I am running late, I'm running behind, I can throw my chicken in the toaster oven, put some broccoli in there with it, and I'm good to go, right? I'll make a big couple batches of broccoli, cauliflower, squash, mushrooms, and then I'll cook that on Sunday and I'll just put it in containers and I'll put it together and throw it in the thing. You can put some rice in there, you can put beans, you can do whatever you want, right? And then pre-portion them out. So I'll put them each in little containers. That way, when I'm ready, I just pull out a container, boom, throw it in there. I come back up here, continue to work. It dings. I go down there and I eat it, right? I throw some sauce on it and I'm good to go. Okay. The batch cooking method. Okay. So, like I was saying, 4 to 5 chicken breasts, or make a large bag of salmon at once. Okay, cook a large pot of quinoa or brown rice or veggies. Like just make a lot of food and get it ready, and then package it. Because when 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock comes, your kids are crying, your wife is hungry, you're pissed. You got to feed the dogs. You still got to take out the trash, mow the lawn, whatever. You don't want to make food, and you're not going to make food. And that's usually when you guys order pizza or freaking go stop by Zips or whatever the heck you guys do, McDonald's, right? In and out. Like it's just setting yourself up for failure. Okay. So the component, instead of making rigid identical meals for every day, prep versatile components that you can mix and match, right? So mixed greens, quinoa, brown rice, like that is your starch at your carbs. And you have your protein, hard boiled eggs, shredded chicken, black beans. So like I said, that's my chicken, my tuna, my beef. And then you want some color, right? You want your cucumbers, you want your tomatoes, lettuce. You want all these things that you can actually mix together. And maybe one day you have a Chipotle bowl and you make the rice, the beans, the lettuce, and you make one at home, right? There's Chipotle chicken from Costco that's really good. That actually tastes like Chipotle. But you can do this at home, right? And then you can add homemade vinaigrette, avocado, or some feta cheese. You can make your own mayonnaise, make your own fat-free Caesar. It's really easy, and you just get it all together. You mix it all together, and then now you have a meal, right? You could make it Mexican, you could make it Italian, you could make it American, you could do whatever the heck you want. You can even do the chicken and make it into some ramen, right? You have the broccoli, you have the chicken, cut up the chicken, throw some ramen noodles on. 10-minute meal, right? But it's different. Okay. What to drink? Beverages that support weight loss. Don't drink your calories. Okay, that's the one thing I always say. Do not drink your calories. Okay, yeah, sodas, smoothies, like all these things that have calories. Don't drink them. Just drink water, and then you can save your calories for all the stuff you want to eat and all the binging you want to do at night. Excuse me. So drinking water can increase your resting energy expenditure by 30%. So just drinking water can make you burn more calories and burn more fat. Okay, it helps to mitigate your appetite, makes you stay fuller for longer, helps you burn more fat, like we said here. Detoxin helps your fat cells reduce toxins, helps you flush stuff out. Compare that with the sauna for best results. Clean beverage choices, right? So water, green tea, black coffee, what to avoid. So liquid calories, sodas, fruit juices, unsweetened teas. Those are terrible. Those have 3, 4, 500 calories. You drink 2 or 3, it's already 1,000 calories. Okay, I have here my chai tea with a little bit of milk and some honey. That's what I drink here, right? So alcohol, I stopped alcohol too. Okay, so aim to drink at least half your body weight in ounces every day, right? So if you weigh 200 pounds, you want 100 ounces of water, right? Which is almost a gallon. Okay. Core principles of clean eating for weight loss. Number one, eat real foods. Pretty simple. They're gonna make you fuller. They're gonna help you burn weight. They're gonna help your digestion, help your energy, help your gut. All these things, right? Eliminate toxic additives, high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, synthetic dyes, and inflammatory seed oils. Balance your plate. 50% vegetables, 20% or 25% clean protein, 25% whole grain carbs, right? So 25% chicken, 25% rice, 50% broccoli. Pretty freaking easy, right? And add a thumb size of some of healthy fats like avocado oil, some Brazil nuts, peanuts, whatever. Um, Hydrate intelligently, right? So water, and then if you want unsweetened tea, black coffee. You don't want to drink your calories. Like getting Starbucks, it's like 300-400 calories with all the sugars and syrups and all the crap they have in it. So eliminate your liquid calories. Don't drink it. Don't do any of that. It raises your insulin. It fucks up your digestion, messes up your sleep. Okay. So what we're aiming for is the 80-20 rule. If you're going to have some of that 20% of the time, right? If you have 21 meals, make 17 of them clean. You're aiming for consistency, not perfection. Okay. And then the weight loss is a natural product of a healthy metabolism. By removing these toxic ingredients, eating clean, you heal your gut, balance your hormones, and allow your body to naturally shed excess weight. People are always like, my hormones are messed up. Well, you fucked up your hormones by eating like trash. Okay. Maybe you shouldn't have 6 Dr. Peppers a day. Maybe that's why your hormones are bad and your gut's all messed up. Right? They say all of our serotonin, like a majority of our serotonin and all of our hormones are produced in your stomach. So it's like, wow, let's take care of that. Okay. So number one, right, your action plan. So if I'm someone who's eating like trash, I want to turn it around. Where do I start? Number one, hydration liquids. Just cut out all your caloric stuff that you eat, that you drink. Right. Don't drink your calories. So sodas, fruit juices, sweetened coffee, Starbucks, Dutch Bros, awful for you. Just stop. Drink black coffee. Drink tea. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Right. You want to break the liquid sugar addiction and flush out all the toxins. You're going to imagine, I guarantee if you're a soda drinker, you're a heavy coffee drinker that's all sweetened, if you take that out, I guarantee you'll lose 1 to 2 pounds a week just by doing that. Okay. Eliminate processed deli meats, hot dogs, fast food burgers. I can't stand hot dogs. They're so good, but like just thinking about what's in them is awful, right? Lean chicken, fish, eggs, lean beef, legumes to every meal, stabilize blood sugar and increases your satisfaction, right? Your satiation. Grains and fats. So eliminate bread, refined pastas, industrial seed oils. Add quinoa, oats, olive oil, avocados, more of those legumes like chickpeas, beans. Okay, it heals your gut lining and reduces your inflammation. Okay, like I said, we're going for that 80-20 rule. Okay, you're not going to be perfect. I want you to be perfect 80% of the time. Okay, think about it. If you're playing basketball, you're playing soccer. If you make 80% of your goals, you're the best basketball player to ever live. If you make 80% of your shots, you're the best basketball. I think one of the highest percentages is probably like 50-60% from the field. And if you're shooting 80%, you're crushing it. Okay, so let's shoot for 80%, and you'll be in good shape. Okay, don't try to change everything on day one. Overhauling your entire diet leads to burnout. So do one thing at a time. Slow is more sustainable, right? So if I'm fat, I'm out of shape, and I try to change everything, my body's going to be freaking out. My mind's going to be freaking out. I'm not going to have the comfort of all these things that I'm used to, and I'm going to be stressed, and I'm going to go right back to my bad habits. So I'd rather start slowly, kick that bad habit. It's not a habit anymore. Change the next habit. Okay, cool. I got rid of the drinking my calories. Awesome. Now let me eat clean protein. And once you do that, cool. That's not a problem anymore. And let's focus on eating healthier grains and more legumes, right? So one step at a time is the most sustainable way to do it. Okay. All right. So now let's get to the little FAQ, right? Do I have to buy everything organic? No, right? Like I said, I want you to prioritize it by buying the Dirty Dozen. So this is the foods with the highest pesticide residue, like strawberries, spinach, apples, broccoli. You can find the Dirty Dozen. They do it every year. So I would just focus on, like I said, the bigger ones. Mostly, I would do your meats, your meats and your eggs and your dairy. That's the one thing I would have. But foods with thick inedible skins like avocados, bananas, onion, the Clean 15, they're perfectly fine because they're protected, right? If you spray pesticides on avocado, yeah, it's going to get inside. It's going to kind of incorporate with the flesh of the avocado, but it's going to be a lot less than if they sprayed right on, just like strawberries, right? So like I think Tom Brady doesn't even eat strawberries because it just sucks in all of the pesticides and it becomes like part of its constitution. It's kind of weird. Will eating fat make me fat? No, right? Healthy avocados is more crucial for hormone production, brain health, satiation. Fat digests slowly, keeping you full for longer, preventing the blood sugar crashes. It's the inflammatory and high refined carbohydrates are what makes you store it as fat, right? And then anything you eat in excess. So just don't eat the bad ones and don't eat in excess. Are all carbs bad for weight loss? No, you need carbs, especially these carbs here. Sweet potatoes, quinoa, oats, beans, packed with fiber, helps it adjust slowly, decreases that insulin blood sugar spike. Okay, so how do I handle intense sugar cravings? Hydrate, eat protein, wait 20 minutes. And then mix in different stuff, right? If you have like a sugar craving because you like to eat ice cream at night, make a protein ice cream, right? Make some of those creamies that people see that are high protein, and you eat a whole freaking thing that's used to be a Ben and Jerry's that's 850 calories for 200 calories, right? And you are 300 calories and you get 40 grams of protein. Like there's other ways around it. Like you don't have to give up ice cream if you like ice cream, and just make ice cream a little differently, right? Not all the processed crap that they put in it. Okay. And so if you guys want to learn more about this, these are some really good books that I recommend here. These are really good websites that I think will help you out on your journey. Smartphone apps, I use the Chronometer to track all my food. Then you have the Yuka app where you can scan it. It tells you if it's good. It tells you what ingredients are good or bad. So if you guys are just new getting into this, I would download this and then just scan everything, and you'll see a lot of the stuff that you put in your cart is actually not that good. Okay. And then these documentaries, watch these at your own risk because it really makes you rethink everything, and it's kind of like fucked up. You watch it and you're like, okay, now what? Like, why are they still allowing this to happen? Right. So you can watch those a little bit, but like I said, they're more doom and gloom. It makes you feel like kind of helpless and powerless after. Like why, like I said, why is it still going on? But then it gives you more control, right? It makes you be more of an authority, and you have to be more of an advocate for your own health. Okay. All right. So final thoughts. You're in control of your health. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish your body, heal your metabolism, move closer to your goals. Nobody's forcing you to eat that shit. Nobody's forcing you to go get a Dr. Pepper with your meal. Nobody's forcing you to eat cheesecake after your dinner. You're doing that. It's the habits that you built. It's the associations with food that you have that you can't break, right? It's a lifestyle, right? You have a lifestyle that sucks if you're eating bad, right? If you're gaining weight, if you're tired, like you did this to yourself. No one else did it. Nobody goes and buys your groceries for you. Nobody makes you go into that drive-through, right? You do it. So you are in control of your health. It is your opportunity to change it. Okay. It's a lifestyle, not a diet. Focus on abundance and then heal from the inside out, right? Think about the whole foods you get to eat rather than what you're giving up. Think about how much you're nourishing your body, how much your body is going to be able to live longer and feel better, and how much your future you is going to thank you for making these decisions. Because if your future you is jacked, 200 pounds and 5% body fat, it's going to thank you a lot more than if you're 500 pounds and you can't even walk around your block, right? So it's a lifestyle, not just a diet. And then you want progress over perfection, one day at a time. Forgive yourself, celebrate your small wins, use the 80-20 rule. Like I said, progress and consistency is better than perfection. Okay. You can do this. You have the knowledge to identify the toxic ingredients and the strategies to stay lean, to choose lean, clean, life giving foods. Okay. The rest of your life starts with your next meal. You make the decision. All right. If you want some help with this, I'm here to support you. If you have questions about what's good, what's not, you can use these channels here. The best way to get in contact with us is probably on Instagram. But we do have these other resources here. This is our website, obviously email, phone number. This allows texting. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can. If you have questions with your diet, if you have been caught, if you have been caught in a cycle of eating really good and then eating bad, doing really good and then giving up, right? If you're relapsing and you're not sticking to something, reach out to us. We have multiple strategies. We have different cookbooks. We have different methods that you could use, stuff that's worked for us and our clients that we can give you. Okay. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Excited to talk to some of you guys and help you guys out. Till next time.